How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Blue Shifting, and welcome back to SeaBed. If you're here for this jaunty little trip, we pretty much are just developing more and more questions and answers. We don't know why Takako vanished. That's literally out of the blue, apparently. We've seen that she seemed to be enjoying her work and working with Sachiko. I mean, things seem to be going fine. Maybe the one regret was that they weren't able to travel enough. So maybe they're going to try and spin the idea that Takako might have just been too frivolous just to stay put, that she decided to just up and leave. But that's still, she and Sachiko obviously had such a strong bond. I don't believe it. Maybe something bad happened. It's also just interesting to see because Takako would drive them around. And so anytime I see Sachiko now not in a car, I'm going to assume it's going to be after Takako vanished. And maybe her car vanished too. I don't know. It's definitely interesting. I'm hoping we'll start getting a little bit more direction. But the other thing is that, like, not only is this a difficult one to know who's talking in which scenes, but it also can be difficult to know, like, where in the timeline we are. I'm assuming that's honestly on purpose. I feel like this is not a series you go into just expecting all the answers to be put in front of you. It's a mystery. It's supposed to be mysterious. We also met that one chick. What's her name? Starts with an N. She's the one who runs like the health clinic, the mental health clinic, and Sachiko kind of like soft approached her, saying, might be kind of crazy, and she's just like, well, as long as it's not interfering with your life, it's okay. Just let me know if you have questions. Show up at the clinic. Decent advice, I suppose. I mean, it's probably the only advice you can give for free. But anyway, now we're on a train. Not sure where. Going anywhere. That's stupid songs jumping into my head at the wrong times. Anyway. So, clankety clank, let's go right into this Let's Play. I opened my eyes to see as my seat jerked violently. The lights inside the train felt dark for a moment, but soon returned to normal. Realizing that I felt cold, I fixed the collar on my thick cardigan. The night train was almost completely devoid of passengers. There was only one family sitting diagonally across from me that boarded the train at the same station I did. Trails of rain droplets trickled down the windows behind them in the opposite direction the train was moving. I want a chopstick toy. The boy with the hoodie turned to the man who was most likely his father. Chopsticks? I never even heard of a toy like that. All my classmates have it. I asked Santa to get me one for Christmas. I see. What do these chopsticks look like exactly? Aren't we in Japan? Like, I thought we were in Japan. Maybe we weren't. The boy made an odd shape with his hands. The rain grew fiercer by the minute, brushing against the windows in a wave-like pattern. I saw the town in the distance, its streets distorted as I looked at them through the rain-soaked windows. A heavy storm cloud, blotting out even the moonlight, looming over the cityscape, covering it in darkness. I realized I could see myself reflected in the window. Brushing the hair out of my face, I glanced down at the book resting on my knees. So confused. After the boy and his father had gotten off the train in the next station, I was left alone in silence. I raised my face to look at the fogged-up window behind the now empty seats. Oh, hello. The lights in the town grew dimmer, and in the dark, a distorted reflection of the train interior, I thought I saw a hazy figure of Takako sitting next to me. Well, that bodes ill. I looked at my side, but the seat was empty. As I returned my gaze to the window, all I saw was my own lone self sitting in an empty train car. Yeah, this is not looking good for her mental capacities. Though, gosh darn it, it's like she just can't process, like, how to handle, like, what happened, or what is happening. Scene change? Stepping into the living room, I could see a cloudy morning sky through the window, and its canvas complemented by a multitude of buildings towering in the distance like they were an elaborate bar graph. I flipped the switch on the wall, leaving only the lamp on the nightstand on. A groan escaped my lips as I felt the cold in the room. I lifted off the paperback from the shelf below my phone, and brought the thing shortly before my business trip in the bookstore near the station. After making myself comfortable on the sofa next to the window, I swiped off the dust from the book I had just picked up and began reading from the page that had my bookmark. Yet after only a few pages or so, I had to return to the first page again. I went at it again, skimming through the parts I understood on my first go, turning pages on one hand while adjusting my glasses with the other. Interesting. Okay, so does she have a reading disorder, or are we seeing a continuation of her mental breakdown? I hope not the latter. I'm really sad. Like, mental stuff is freaky. Like, it should be for all of us, because, like, well, what can you do? There's nothing you can do about it. It just happens to some people. The somewhat loosened metallic part of my working reading computer glasses turned with a low creak. The washing machine I turned on before coming into the room let out a loud beep just as I was about halfway done with the book. I closed the book and went to pick up my laundry. The orange hue of the morning sky entered my vision through the window as I rose from the sofa. By the time I finished hanging the last of my clothes, the white shirt of my work outfit, the sun that was only slightly peeking from the horizon when I started had risen into the sky. So she's a morning person. A stray gust of the wind drifted in through the window, making my laundry flutter like the many legs of some octopus-like being. As I gave Takako's shirt on the hanger a few pats, my hand hit something hard around the vicinity of the breast pocket. Hang on. I slid my fingers into it and pulled it out. A wet business card. I turned it over, but the name was too washed out to read. In the end, I returned to my room and flipped the thing into the trash can. Ooh, hang on, though. That's Takako's shirt, and she found a business card. That could have been a really fascinating clue. It's too bad it was washed out. So, guess that's something, mental note for later. She had contact with somebody who gave her some kind of card. Probably right before she vanished, because it was still in her pocket. Also, why is she washing her clothes? Maybe she's just, like, hoping she'll come back? Inhaling a lungful of air, I glanced at my paperback, still resting on the sofa, and then the fridge, before my gaze finally settled on the calendar hanging on the wall. An illustration of an autumn landscape decorating its current page, right before the name of the month. More specifically, it displayed a post-harvest field split apart by a long road in the middle. The road itself was flanked by trees on both sides, their fallen leaves covering the ground with spots of orange and yellow. The hands of the wall clock next to the calendar completely overlapped. I rubbed my right shoulder with my left hand and continued to the kitchen. It's funny, that's the same shoulder that's sore for me. I don't know, it's been sore for days. I don't really know what it is. I think I've just been sleeping on it funny. For breakfast, I whipped up some scrambled eggs with salad. Once I had finished eating it, I began cleaning my apartment. First, I separated the boxes into the corner, into things I should keep, things I should throw away, and things I should send to Takako's family. Oh, that's sad. I brushed off the dust of one of the boxes I decided to send. I grabbed a magic marker from the living room, popped off his cap. I hate that sound. Ugh. Looking carefully at the postcard I took from the bundle near the phone, I wrote the address of her house in the front of the box and mine on the back. Before taping the box shut, I slid in a letter I wrote to her family. It was an apology for being so late to send it. As I finished packing, I returned to the living room and phoned the delivery service, booked them for the earliest possible time. After placing the phone back to its place, I turned around and noticed the boxes, all separated into categories of what should be left here and what should be sent away. Not a single box had been marked to be thrown away. Things I couldn't figure out uses for I instantly discarded, while the rest went back into their boxes. By the end of it, I didn't have enough items to fill even a single box. I picked up the scissors and packing tape from the floor. This is horrifically depressing right now. Is this everything? Yes, thank you very much. As a middle-aged man carried the last of my boxes with his bare arms to the elevator, a younger and taller man handed me a receipt. The younger man gave me a brief bow and hurried away to the elevator that the older man was keeping open for him. Once I saw them leave, I locked my door and returned to the living room. Placing my wallet in the bamboo basket, I heaved a brief sigh. Yeah, that's... dang. I glanced at my feet to see the rays of sun almost reaching them. After directing a brief glance at the clock on the wall, I stepped onto the balcony and touched the denim pants on the hanger to check if they had dried. As I gazed outside, I spotted the balcony of the mansion to my left. The futon that was there when I was hanging out my laundry has since disappeared. Weird. I collected my clothes and closed the balcony door behind me. I sat down next to the mountain of clothes and started folding them. It felt somewhat cold in the apartment, even after closing the windows, but the sunlight filtering in from outside warmed me up a little. I feel like she's not even thinking. Like her thoughts are just what's happening right now, and she's not letting her thoughts wander. After folding the jackets, I separated the clothespins from the underwear and folded them as well. I grabbed the matching socks by the cuff and folded them together to create a ball. I heard the floor creak as I picked up one of the socks and continued to look for the next. As I returned to the dark blue sock, I picked up my mistake, but to the mountain of accumulated laundry, the living room door opened. Oh, okay. Takako appeared in her pajamas and continued to the kitchen, stifling with a yawn with one hand. It's one of her visions, I'm guessing. I followed her with my gaze until she disappeared behind the corner. I continued staring at the wall that Takako vanished behind for a couple of seconds, when her head suddenly popped into view again. Do we have anything to eat? No. I'm hungry. Takako gave her belly a light pat. It's way past lunchtime. You have to manage until dinner. Oh no, that's what she says. Sachiko says. It's way past lunchtime. You'll have to manage until dinner. Do we have any snacks? No. With that, Takako disappeared back into the kitchen. I could hear the sound of the opening drawers. No way! There's nearly nothing here. Did you already eat all the cookies in the jar? When did we even have such a thing? Whatever. I guess I'll just eat sugar or something. Just raw sugar, right. Hey! I'll start preparing dinner after I'm done with the laundry, okay? What are you gonna make? Absentmindedly checked the calendar and the clock on the wall. I don't know. What do you want? Sukiyaki! We don't have enough soy sauce. How do you not have enough soy sauce? Then I'll go buy some. Takako emerged from the kitchen holding a cup of barley tea. Is there anything else you need? Soy sauce and meat for sukiyaki. I can manage the rest. I'm not seeing any shirataki either. Gosh darn it. I just slaughtered that one. My apologies. Takako opened the fridge and looked inside. That too. Is that all? I guess I could also use some detergent. Gotcha. Takako opened the living room door and disappeared beyond it. The door closed behind her with a thud. I could see the orange rays of the evening sun reflected on the polished wood. The room felt completely silent, with only a distant cawing of ravens from outside reaching my ears. So, what was that? Maybe this is how she keeps her sanity, is just convincing herself that she's real and there. My reading was interrupted by the sound of the rice cooker signaling that the rice was done. I slid the bookmark into my paper back and left it on the sofa. Stepping into the kitchen, I opened the fridge. I grabbed all the eggs from the holders on the top shelf of the door, then reached in for the oil in a bowl from the bottom cabinet. After cracking the eggs on the side of the bowl, I discarded their shells in the garbage basket below the sink. Picked up a pair of chopsticks and parted the two pieces ever so slightly, then gently began moving them back and forth to mix the white with the yolk. As I was doing that, I heard the front door behind me unlock. I heard the floor creak and the living room door opened. I'm back! Takako left the shopping bag on the table and pulled up a nearby chair to sit down. Welcome home. Leaving the bowl with my mixed eggs, I moved to the kitchen and checked the contents of the shopping bag Takako brought back. Found a pack of sukiyaki meat with a bargain sale sticker on it, some chrysanthemum greens, shirataki. What about the soy sauce? It should be at the bottom. I found it under the shirataki bag. I thanked her. She responded by raising her arm. Once I got everything I needed from the bag, I brought them to the kitchen. I let the frying pan on the stove. I turned the knob 3 times until the flame lit up, then drained the oil from the frying pan with a kitchen towel as I heated it up. There was a beep followed by the sound of the TV. As the probability of rain remained high, we recommended taking an umbrella in the evening of going out. It was the weather forecast. They say it's going to rain tomorrow. Huh? I reached out to the bottle of the mensuyo in the cabinet and dripped a few drops into my egg bowl before stirring the mixture with my chopsticks again. Whoever wrote this obviously knows how to cook. This is specific enough that you almost could try and guesstimate your way through making this. And I think my wife makes something very similar. Like the process is seeming very similar to me. She's a fantastic cook. All self-taught too. It's like brilliant. No, it is fun because whenever you support someone who's teaching themselves how to cook, you sometimes have the things that just don't work out very well. Lately, it's been pulled pork. She's just not been able to get that right for some reason. First time, it seemed that some of the seasoning burned, and like, while it tasted okay, you could definitely have that charcoaly taste. It's just not great. Second time, I didn't even get to taste it. She said just it did not work. We're gonna try again this week. Hopefully that'll work out better. Bladder. Saying words wrong and everything. My shoulder's killing me. What is up with it? It's like, I don't know. I can't find a way to stretch. It just makes it like work right. Maybe I need to stretch it more often in lots of different ways. Because it's weird. It's sore through here. That's what's weird about it. It's sore in like lower neck, top of the shoulder. And this is not a place that seems very easy to stretch. It's really bugging me right now, which is why I'm talking about it. Sorry. Bit distracting. But the music's just jazzy and just like, I'm just trying to relax. Alright. Once I was finished with that, I spilled about half of what was in the bowl into the frying pan. A sharp sizzle sound followed. I rotated the frying pan so the beaten eggs wouldn't cover its entire surface, then popped the bubbles that would appear with my chopsticks. A delicious smell began to fill the entire kitchen. I could hear the sound of the changing TV channels from the living room. Are you frying eggs over there? Takako momentarily stopped fiddling with the remote control. Yes. The eggs in the frying pan started to congeal. I folded the whole thing in half with my chopsticks. I drained the oil from the newly opened area with a kitchen towel, and after moving the folded egg to it, drained the other half as well. Finally, I unfolded the egg and spilled the rest of the bowl's contents on it. Smells like we're having a feast tonight. You're about the only one who gets this excited over sukiyaki and a fried egg. I love fried eggs. They're really good. Ever had a fried egg on a burger? Oh my gosh. Like, nice fried egg with a soft yolk. And so like you bite into it and it just starts like infusing the yolk into like the meat of the burger. It's just amazing. And I only tried it last year and it was phenomenal. As the egg began to harden, I folded it again. I'm getting hungry. While also making some minor adjustments to the shape with my spatula. I'm pretty sure this is a dream, though. Oh, no, that's what she said. Oh, that was Sachiko. I'm pretty sure this is a dream, though. Oh, yeah? Yes. I see. Well, I don't care as long as I get my food. Yeah, I mean, what else could it be? It has to be a dream, right? As I sat up from the sofa, I immediately clutched my head in response to a sudden, sharp jolt of pain. Oh, that's not a good sign. I glanced out the window to see the sun already vanishing beyond the horizon and a few stray stars shining in the night. My laundry is all neatly folded next to my feet. There is no pot on the dining table in front of the TV, nor any shopping bag on the other table. I stood up and peeked out the living room door to check the boxes. They were indeed gone. I closed the door again, then turned around and stuffed my dried clothes into into their designated drawers before getting ready to make my second dinner tonight. The depressing, reality-filled one. Oh, man. My heart, I like the story so far. It actually is really compelling, but man, I'm sad. I closed the window behind my desk to keep the autumn cold out. So this is still sounding like it's after Takako vanished. Okay. Upon returning to my desk and glancing at all the documents littering it, I tapped with the middle finger on the right hand of the desk's surface a number of times. I read through the document and signed it with a pen from my pouch to my right. There was a field for the next date next to my name. I looked away from the papers to the wall behind the rest of the office desks. Fixed to it was a round clock and a white board listing our schedules. It contained our names, whereabouts, and times we'd be leaving the office, and other information. The names listed included Mizuno Sachiko, Oita Fumi, Inukai Takahito, and Saratari Analyze. That sounds more like a Western name. No, not the first part, but the last part. Annalise. Above Mizuno Sachiko, there was an empty space with traces of Takako's name on it. Fumi, can I get you to your review on this? I added the date with a whiteboard and a document. I'm a bit busy right now. Inukai handed a memory stick and a bundle of freshly printed files to Fumi. Fumi took out a color sample from her desk. What is it? The poster from the what is it? The poster from the fireworks festival. I see. I'll give it a look later. Just leave it here. I only made a few minor adjustments, so maybe I can just hand it in like that. Inukai answered the paper in his hand. Are you confident it's okay? More or less. Make sure to attach your photo to the thing so everyone knows it's your work, not mine, okay? I have some extra ID pictures. Can I use those? Make it look like those vegetable packs you often see at the Whole Food Market. You know? The ones with the pictures depicting the farmer who grew them. Fumi handed Inukai a pen case with a drawing instrument. I'm getting worried about this. Fumi, can you look at it? No, okay, this is probably Sachiko. I'm getting worried about this. Fumi, can you look at it for him after all? I'm almost done. I'll make sure to check it today. I'll put an end to their game. Inukai gave Fumi's desk, covered in plush toys and textbooks, a quick glance and then placed the paper there. Hey, don't put it on my plushies. Fumi lifted the paper off the top of the round sheaf and then put it in a plastic case that served as a scaffold for a pile of textbooks on her desk. I could see Takako's barren desk beyond it. There was only an empty glass jar on it, aside from a few papers intended for the new employee taking over her job. Dang. So did she take her stuff, or did they have to get rid of her stuff? It's such a big difference. A bell similar to that of the schools reverberated in the room. Lunchtime. I'll go outside. Inukai left the office. I opened the file, and after picking out a few colored pictures from it, I slipped them into a brown envelope along the documents I had signed. Fumi stood up as well and was jotting down the zip code, seemingly having finished her job early. Did you bring your lunch today? I'm sorry, I couldn't wake up early this morning. I see. I'll drop by a convenience store on my way back. Would you like something? Nah, I'm good. I see. I opened the bottom drawer and stuffed the envelope inside and then locked it. I pulled out my wallet from my handbag, resting next to the drawer, and stood up. I'll be off then. Later. I addressed Fumi as she was on her way to the kitchen. Okay. Back here again. The bell affixed to the corner of the cafe's door gave off a chime. I sat down at the counter and ordered a one-coin lunch. As I absent-mindedly observed the steward in a black and white suit prepare coffee, someone rose from their seats at the back of the restaurant and stood behind me. Sachi? Yeah, I thought it was her. I turned around to see Narasaki, that's her name, raising her hand in greeting. You were here. I was waving at you when you came in. I didn't notice at all. So I've seen. I was starting to wonder if this was some elaborate game on your part. I'm not into things like that. Narasaki placed a saucer with her coffee on the counter and sat down next to me. What did you order? Lunch. Did you eat already? I was enjoying a cake. A cheesecake with green tea? Nah, I tried something else today. You come here a lot? Yeah. I told you this place was close to the clinic. Narasaki crossed her legs and beckoned forth the steward, ultimately ordering another cup of coffee. See, I'm wondering if Sachiko didn't, either intentionally or subconsciously, choose to come back here, hoping to see her again. You came here before lunchtime? Oh no, that's what Sachiko said. I came about 30 minutes ago. I finished my monitoring shift early. Well, I guess that's usually how things go anyway. Wow. Blah, blah, blah. The steward came over and placed 2 cups of coffee on the counter, one for Narasaki and one for me. Thank you. Narasaki passed my cup to me. Before long, I received the salad part of my lunch set as well. Do you know what a Fruitbat is? Fruitbat? It seems like a Norse word. Narasaki addressed me as I stuck my wooden fork into its salad. What? Fruitbat. Never heard of it. Yeah, I guess you wouldn't have. What is it? Even I've only heard about it for the first time last week. One of our patients was crying that he'd lost his Fruitbat. You should have asked him about it. I placed a forkful of salad into my mouth. I could feel the taste of the traditional dressing and the onions spreading across my tongue. It's a common practice to change the subject when a patient starts talking about something strange, so as not to encourage the delusions. So it was just something he made up in his mind? Well, that same patient came to the clinic today and was overjoyed about how he finally found his Fruitbat. Curiosity was gnawing away at me, but all I could do was say I was happy for him and end the conversation there. Narasaki took a sip of her still steaming coffee. Fruitbat. Yep, Fruitbat. I put a slice of tomato in my mouth. It melted in my mouth with a cool sensation and a hint of sweetness. I'm afraid I have no idea what it could be. But it doesn't sound that weird to say, does it? Yeah, it does. Like it gives you the feeling that you might have heard the word somewhere. I'd say it's entirely possible it might have come up in some picture book or something. Narasaki placed a palm on her forehead, making an excited smile. Placed a palm on her forehead, making an excited smile. I don't get it. Do you get a lot of these things at... Oh, sorry, it's just Sachiko. Do you get a lot of these things at work? Absolutely. When you work with these kinds of patients, you tend to hear the unusual word here or there, like beam surfer. What's that? This patient who apparently would wake up laughing in the middle of the night, but come morning, he can no longer remember what cracked him up to that extent. But since he was laughing that much, he figured it must have been something hilarious. So one time he left a pen and paper next to his pillow before hitting the sack. He woke up laughing as usual, but jotted down everything before he went back to sleep so he could remember. The morning came, and all he found on the paper were those 2 words. Weird. Makes me wonder what was so funny about it. I don't know. Nor did he. As I finished swallowing the last tomato, a steward brought the main dish, a sandwich with smoked salmon and cream cheese. Ooh, that actually sounds good. It was separated into 3 pieces, making it easier to eat. I wiped my fingers with a napkin, picked up one of the pieces, and put it into my mouth. Then I took a gulp of the coffee, which had now cooled off just enough to be comfortable to drink. Feeling the warmth of the cup in my palms, I glanced beyond the counter to see the steward washing some dishes. Narasaki added a few spoons of sugar to her coffee. After I finished eating lunch, I told Narasaki about the dream I'd had yesterday. So, you made her dinner, despite knowing it was a dream? Yes. Narasaki chuckled. I got a little excited, I guess. I haven't spoken to her I got a little excited, I guess. I haven't spoken to her in ages. Well, good for you. But as I said, it's best not to encourage this kind of thing. Narasaki gave me a brief glance. I suppose that's true. Otherwise, it might end up interfering with your everyday life. I know that. But doesn't it make for an interesting story? It might also serve to severely disorient you. I am aware of that too. Narasaki stuffed her hands in her pockets and leaned closer to me. Do you have any medication that would make it go away? Why not drop by my clinic? I could prescribe something for you. I'll think about it. No need to be scared. It's the kind of place that's frequented by housewives when they have no one to talk to. Really? I wonder if that's very common. Narasaki spun around in her chair and stood up. I think I should be going. Alright. Once Narasaki had left, I finished my coffee, paid for everything, and exited the cafe myself. I glanced up at the narrow patch of gray sky visible between the buildings surrounding me, noticing more and more clouds scattering about it. I checked my wristwatch, then crossed the street and entered the convenience store. After I picked up a drink and some gum that kept me awake, I returned to the office. That would be a little creepy, though, because remember in the dream, Takako turned on the TV and said it was going to rain tomorrow. I mean, that's the problem is that thinking like that, though, could be exactly what starts breaking down her mental barriers. New characters popped up in the monitor with each new tap of the keyboard. White letters on the black drop of CRT screen. Sun rays fell in stripes out at my desk through the slits of the blinds. My slender fingers, the nails on the ends of all well kempt, were tapping away at the keyboard, following a rhythmic pace. At times I could hear the passing of cars nearby trains in the distance. I saved the presentation file and paused to rest my hands a little. Pushing my chair away from my desk, I extended my legs to stretch my back. I surveyed the outdoor scenery through the blinds. Spots of white clouds could be seen drifting along the blue sky between the towering buildings. The afternoon rain that accumulated on the asphalt sprang into the air each time the passing car rolled into it. I pushed my chair back, returning my silent gaze to the monitor. The flickering CRT screen displayed particulars of a presentation detailing our company's restructuring. As I was confirming the slides, Fumi emerged from the kitchen. She placed a steaming cup on my desk. Have some tea. Oh, thank you. Have you finished already? Fumi looked at my monitor. Yes, the deadline was tomorrow, but it seems like I'll be able to finish it today. In that case, we might finally be able to take a break on the weekend. Yeah. I'd appreciate a little change of pace. I know. Or that flipped. A little change of pace. I collected the documents in a binder, which I then placed on top of the drawer of my desk. I placed all the scattered writing utensils back in the pen holder. The hands of the wall clock indicated that it was a few minutes before midnight. Holy crap! Out of the 4 other office desks, Fumi's was the only one yet to be cleaned up. Inukai went home before we started our late night overtime, while Fumi was currently in the bathroom. It was dark as pitch beyond the windows. My office phone rang, and I promptly picked up the receiver. Hello? I'm locking up the building in 10 minutes. Are you going to need the lights off for the night? It was the night watchman. The office door opened and Fumi came into the room. I'm leaving. What about you, Fumi? I'm leaving. What about you, Fumi? Me too. I gave her a nod and removed my hand from the receiver. We're leaving right now. Alright. Don't forget to lock the doors. Okay. I have heard, obviously don't know because I don't go there, but I've heard about the tendency for overworking and overcompensating for companies is very prevalent in Japan. It's probably traditional. It builds off of the from what I understand, it builds off the aspect of the very strong community feeling that is very prevalent in the culture in Japan, at least from what I hear. But it does make sense when you live in a society that is so reflective of like we reflect the rest of us, like we're part of a community, like that sense of community, and that like your actions are things that like it's like you don't just affect yourself with your choices, but you affect others. And there's a strong sense that like in order to be successful in the corporate world, especially in Japan, apparently people are willing to dedicate themselves 100 or 300%. Like there are people who like have had to go to the hospital because of exhaustion, where I've heard and read stories that 60-hour, 80-hour work weeks are fairly common. And while technically the businesses don't encourage that, they also don't discourage it enough. Like I even heard recently that there was a company who would like I think they said they were going to do things like forcing people to clock out, like escorting them out after 40 hours, or like giving them extra vacation time and forcing them to take a break if they work too much. I don't know, but like it's just crazy to me because it's like it's so opposite here. It's like we fight tooth and nail to be home as often as possible, but this seems to be a reflection of that. Like they're like, oh yeah, maybe we'll have a break this weekend, and then they're here till midnight and like normal. Like that's insane. Like because go sleep and then like do other stuff. It's a different cultural thing, and that's one of the things. Like for me, were I ever to try and get a job in Japan for whatever reason, like I feel like that would be the one thing that I would struggle with, is like the culture side of getting a job over there. Like must be insane. As a matter of fact, I think the only job I would ever try like consider would be teaching. I know that like that's the most common like exchange like program that people have over there. And you know, in order to live in another country and to teach, in order to like experience living there, would be really really fun. But I just don't know if there'd be any room for someone like me in Japan, even if I knew the language perfectly and were perfectly reasonable and knew how to, you know, keep myself from messing things up like their recycling system and just like the basic stuff, you know. Definitely plan on going to visit at some point, if at all possible, but I don't know. I think a lot of people talk about wanting to live in Japan, but don't realize, like, it's not just some happy place where, like, everything's perfect. Of course it's not. And culturally, it would be so shocking. I imagine that most people who think they would like to live in Japan would actually hate it. Someone like me would probably be okay just because I genuinely would want to learn the culture. Like, I would be going into it knowing that, like, everything I've heard probably kind of false. I would want to go and I'd be like, please let me know how I can like live here and be a contributing member of society for a brief time, and let me experience what it's like. And I really hope I get to do that at some point, because if I get to fulfill my wish of learning Japanese, I mean, it really got sparked by this kind of stuff, you know, like being able to listen to it so much in visual novels and anime. Started this interest in the language, and I'd always wanted to learn one. And then next thing I knew, I did a trial run of learning the online language, and I signed up for it because I was really liking it, and just like the challenge of being able to read, being able to do things, and then starting to like read the characters, and also knowing how to pronounce things properly now. Like it turned into such an excitement for me that I've decided I want to try and keep pursuing that, because I've always regretted not learning another language. I just never did in high school, and I had reasons for it, but I've always regretted it, and so now I'm going to make it happen, and it's just like, why not do something that supports like a hobby of mine that I'm so passionate about, that I've turned into a little community here on YouTube. Like, that happened to be cool. Like, one of my dreams is that one day, if I get to expand my channel a little bit, maybe do another day where I'm doing visual novels, it'd be really fun to do an all Japanese day, where I would take a Japanese visual novel, and I would read it and talk about it in Japanese. It'd be so cool to be able to do that. But that could be really hard, especially because I feel like with my audience being so strongly like from my own country, the United States, if I did that, I would want to translate everything in English. So maybe what I could try and do is I could try and put it in Japanese and then have English subtitles. But then I couldn't subtitle my own phrases. I don't know. I'm going on a rant here. Anyway, let's figure out what happens now. So we're going to lock up and leave. Of course. I placed the receiver back in his place. Let's go. Catching the last train could be tough. Need a lift? Fumi tapped her skirt pocket to draw attention to her car keys. No, I'm good. I might need to drop by another place first. I see. She's very nice. I didn't like her at first, but she's very nice. Inside, the taxi lit up as the car in the opposite lane came closer, then fell dark again as soon as it passed us. I could see all sorts of small lights beyond the window. I leaned back against my seat, heaving a sigh. I briefly regarded the driver's graying hair before shifting my gaze back to the window, juxtaposed with the multitude of lights beaming from the skyscrapers and the rows of cars speeding past. I could see the reflection of a positively exhausted woman. Upon closer inspection, the woman's face, now distorted in apparent disguise, reminded me of the pictures I'd seen of my mother. We seem to have taken the hit of traffic jam. This could take a while. driver said so. I see. I narrowed my eyes to more thoroughly examine the driver through the black mirror. However, the visor of his hat hid and his eyes slightly tilted his head down. Interesting. I unlocked the front door with an audible click. I'm back. My voice was swallowed by the darkness of the corridor. Entering the living room, I flipped on the light switch and continued to the kitchen, where I opened the fridge and helped myself to a jug of tea. I placed the cup on the silver tray, but as I turned around to return the jug of the fridge... Oh, that's not good. My vision is enveloped by darkness, forcing me to lean on the fridge door. As I hung my head, waiting for my eyesight to return to normal, the abrupt sensation of the very floor trying to swallow me whole sent me to my knees. What the fetch? Holy crap! That's not normal. Oh, like let's go to the clinic right now. After a while, my vision begins to gradually normalize. It's been a while since I got a digispell that bad. I couldn't help but chuckle at it all. With my vision still occasionally blinking out, I felt some of the strength in my legs return. This prompted me to try and stand up, but I ended up losing my balance and hitting my head against the fridge. Ooh. Come on, girl, please, be careful. As the fit finally passed, I stood up and placed the jug of tea that I had managed not to spill in the fridge. I returned to the living room to get changed. Oh boy, that's really bad. Oh, fetch, man. Oh, man. Ooh, bad. I don't care about you happy, jumping, moving, dancing music. We've got a problem here. Oh, but looks like we're going to be having a memory again, because Takako apparently is back. That'll be kind of nice and uplifting. Crap! Holy crap, yeah, she needs help. She absolutely needs help. That is effectively, like, affecting her life. I have a feeling she's not going to go get help right away. Most of us don't. We're stupid, and we're stubborn. We tend to not do that. If you, just, put a good rule of thumb, if you're fallen, if you lose your ability to recognize what's real and what's not, if you are overwhelmed with something as easy as trying to open a refrigerator, yeah, you need to talk to someone about that, please. Oh my gosh, that'd be so scary. Oh, mental stuff really gets me. Like, I'm really terrified about, like, I don't want to feel like I'm lost in my own thoughts. My brain could be a very, very scary place if I were trapped in there. But anyway, on that depressing note, we'll end it here. So thank you so much for being part of the channel. Thank you so much for participating in this series. It's a smaller series, of course, but like I said, as always, I'm trying to show support for those smaller developers who need a good shout out, and ultimately are the backbone upon which the future visual novels will be built. So anyway, thank you so much for spending your time here. Let me know in your comments below. Like, what do you think about that? Like, if you thought you were going crazy, do you think you'd be able to go get help quickly? Do you think that you actually had to consider whether or not you're going crazy before? I think I mentioned in another episode about how I definitely was going crazy when I got sick. If I get really, really sick with a heavy fever, I start seeing things. And it's the weirdest and most disturbing and mentally upsetting thing that could ever happen to a person. So yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that and that subject matter? And I don't know, it also helps too. Like, I've studied some psychology in college, and I actually have a good friend who has a master's degree in psychology, and she and I talk about this kind of stuff all the time. Mental health's a big issue, and it's something that we really need to be aware of and be able to self-regulate and understand that it's okay to want to ask people, like, if this is alright. You know, it's okay to go and talk to somebody about it, especially a professional. Like, you don't have to live in fear of your own mind. Go get help if you need it, because it'll help you feel better. Even if you just talk about it with somebody, you get reassurance that you're okay. It's like, it's worth it. It really can make a big difference in your life. But anyway, regardless of that, thank you so much for being here once again. Thank you so much for joining me, and until the next video you're watching me, or whatever you see me in next, I'll see you there.